Oh, Lordy. Okay, so I kept talking, but my video stopped for some reason. So here's the rest of these. I'd already worked through them, so then I had to go erase. So I didn't white out the answer, so I didn't give it away. Here we go. We've got these last three. Okay, so here we go. What's weird about this one is that your base is a fraction. So that concept up here that we used where we had to get a negative exponent to turn it into a fraction, well, we kind of had to do the same thing to get it out of a fraction. If I was going to take this 1/2 and raise it to a power, if I needed to bring the 2 up so that it wasn't a fraction anymore, then I'm going to have to use a negative exponent. Okay, so in this case, I need to bring this 2 up to turn it into a 4. That's going to be a squaring, but to bring it up, it's got to be a negative. So it would look something like this if you were writing it out. It'd be log base 1/2, and then you write this 1/2 to some power. And so again, I would have to make it negative to pop it up, and I'd square it to turn it into a 4. So then my final answer would be this -2, which was the exponent that I ended up with. Okay, let's try this one. Now this is a kind of a weird one because I'm getting a smaller number. Up here, the base was 3, I was going bigger. 4 was going bigger. 5 was going bigger. But now I'm getting to a smaller number. Okay, to get to a smaller number is typically going to be through a root. And so remember that if I square root something, that's a 1/2 power. That's what we did over here. See, on this one, when I square rooted it, that was a 1/2 power. If I was cube rooting here, this would be a 1/3. Fourth rooting, this would be a 1/4. Okay, so that's what I need to do then. I need to get this smaller by doing a root. Now, it does help if you know your perfect squares and your perfect cubes so that you recognize, oh, 2 cubed is 8. Okay, so what that means is I need to cube root this 8 to get it to be a 2. So if I were to write it out, I'd change it to the log base 8 of, and then I'm going to use this 8, and I need to cube root it. And then you can write it like this, but in the end, what you need to remember is that a cube root is really just a 1/3 power. So you can write it as the cube root, or you can write it as an 8 to the 1/3. But in the end, my answer is 1/3, because that's the exponent. All right, last one. Here we go. This one's kind of messy in a couple ways. All right, so I'm going smaller, so I feel like I'm going to have to be rooting somewhere in there. But also I have this fraction that's going to have to be popped up because this is not a fraction. So that means I'm going to have to make it negative. And then also, what would you have to do to a 9 to get it to be a 3? All right, so hopefully you're thinking, oh, I would want to square root that 9. So I would change it to this. It'd be a 1/9. Okay, couple things. I got to make it negative to pop it up out of the fraction. And then I'm going to have to square root the 9 to make it be a 3. A square root is a 1/2. So in the end, my answer is this -1/2. All right, there are a whole bunch of examples also in the Learn portion of this homework. Maybe go look at those. Maybe this helped and you've got it figured out. Maybe you quit watching a long time ago. That's all right. I hope this helps. Bye.